Hey gang, it's me, Dr. Steve. Just a quick lunch update for you here. BLM is going bankrupt. It's now being confirmed by multiple sources that Black Lives Matter is headed for insolvency, as the British media so graciously puts it. According to their latest tax returns, BLM has seen a near 90% in donations and is currently experiencing an $8.5 million deficit. And to add insult to injury, their investment accounts also suffered losses to the tune of nearly $10 million. Now, this is all on top of the multiple allegations of financial misconduct and misuse of donations, especially involving the former head of BLM's family members and close friends. We know that co-founder Patrice Cullors used BLM funds to pay her brother $840,000 in, quote, security services, as well as another nearly $1 million to a company owned by her child's father for, quote, creative services. They bought a $6 million property in Los Angeles along with Cullors' massive real estate buying spree. She bought a $1.4 million home in an exclusive LA neighborhood where the vast majority of the residents are ironically white. It's been widely reported that she bought a total of 4 high-end homes for the tune of $3.2 million. So their money's dried up. Donations have imploded. They're in the red. So clearly things look rather dire for BLM, to say the least. Now, this is an astonishing fall for an organization that was once pronounced by Tucker Carlson as the single most powerful political agency in the nation. That, of course, happened right after the George Floyd riots, when we saw even the likes of Mitt Romney and a whole host of other pathetic establishment rhino Republicans bending the knee to BLM activists. It really looked as if cultural Marxism had triumphed, even over the Republican Party, at least in terms of its leadership. And one of the things I noted back then was that this was all going to backfire. This was going to backfire on the Republicans and most especially the Democrats, because little did they know they were embracing what was nothing less than a bona fide tribalist, ethno-nationalist movement in BLM. Now, that was admitted to recently, by the way, by a spokesperson for BLM, who said it was indeed a black nationalist movement. And that was so key because, as I've long argued, what we're seeing is a massive return to nationalism all over the world. And populations are more and more returning to nation, culture, custom, and tradition as the globalist world order breaks up and shatters. So everyone's going local, as it were. And this is why nationalism, or even civilizationalism, is making such a massive comeback all over the world. Even in China. China's today more nationalist than it's been in over a century. And this is the way we needed to understand the Trump phenomenon and the rise of the America First movement. It's not an isolated event. The renewal of American nationalism is part and parcel of this breakup of globalist systems around the world and a return by more and more populations to nation, culture, custom, and tradition, like the Brexit movement. But, and this was absolutely crucial, but we have to recognize that there are two types of nationalism. There's civic nationalism, that involves the renewal of the customs and culture that unite a nation. And there's ethno-nationalism that involves the renewal of the customs and culture that unite a people, particularly an ethnic people or race. Now, sometimes they're the same, like in Japan, right? But scholars generally make a distinction between these two kinds of nationalism. Civic nationalists want to restore the respective national sovereignties by reaffirming border security, economy, culture that together unites us together as one multi-ethnic people. That's the MAGA movement in a nutshell. Ethno-nationalists, on the other hand, are characterized by a turn toward a more homogeneous racial and cultural makeup, where populations are increasingly balkanizing as they turn towards their own ethnic identity and loyalties based on kin and race. That is BLM. And so what I've been arguing is that embracing the BLM movement, both Democrats and rhino Republicans, were in point of fact empowering an ethno-nationalist movement that ultimately wanted nothing to do with either one of them. But the key to my argument was this: either way, we're going nationalist. Either way, we're going the way of civic nationalism or we're going the way of ethno-nationalism. But one way or another, we're all going nationalist. And with the demise of BLM, that may indeed mean that the MAGA-inspired civic nationalism of America First is indeed the future of where we're headed. So we'll see how all of this plays out, but as far as I'm concerned, BLM will not be missed. As always, make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. You'll definitely want to check out my latest video on the truth of Ron DeSantis' presidential bid. You're not going to want to miss that. So make sure to click on that link and I'll see you over there. God bless.